When we observe planets and stars through our telescopes, how are we able to tell what they are made of? This is an important question in astronomy, and the answer is actually pretty satisfying. So, we have to go to chemistry. In chemistry, we learn about spectroscopy. This is a method in which we find the emission and absorption lines of chemicals with a spectrograph. Each element has a characteristic graph. Okay, well, how does this graph help us? Well, when we observe the starlight from a star, we can find out its emission or absorption graph. With this graph, we can match the lines on the graph to those of the elements and find out what they are made of. For example, the hydrogen line dominates in stars, showing us that a large percent of a star is made up of hydrogen. This is how we find stuff out for stars, but what about exoplanets? In a previous video, we discussed the difficulty of finding out that these planets existed. So how do we find out what they're made of? It sounds impossible. Well, that's where indirect methods help us. First of all, we can measure the radius of a planet from how much luminosity it blocks while passing around a star. Then, we can find the mass from how much the star wobbles due to the planet's gravity. In this way, we have the mass and the volume, which means we can find the density. But why would we need that? Well, if the planet has a high density, it's probably rocky. If the density is low, it's a gas planet. But if it's intermediate, we might be able to find worlds made only up of water. How cool is that? Okay, so now we know about the type of planet, but how can we know what it's made out of? Now comes indirect spectroscopy. When the planet passes between our line of sight and the star, its emission is also recorded, and we can find the composition of the atmosphere by removing the emission spectra of the star and just looking at the emission spectrum of the planet. In this genius way, we're able to find sort of habitable planets, amazing stars, and beautiful creations of the universe. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If so, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment about what you enjoyed and what I can improve. Stay curious like a child, the world needs more of it. Bye.